This is my 1987 BMW K75. I've owned it for 26 years and it's done about 86,000 miles. Last weekend when I went out, it was one of the hottest days ever in Britain, roughly 36 degrees. And when I came back, I found something that I'd never seen happen to it before. This cover is all smeared with oil, and there's oil down the back of the crankcase there. This has never happened to me before, and I was really worried that maybe somehow I'd split the engine. What I think has happened though is that I turned on my extra powerful fan, which has its own independent switch, and somehow it's forced oil across the engine. But I'm going to have to take all the fairings off now to try and find out what this is. I've discovered that this is actually the problem. This has perished and it's bleeding from here, so this is fuel. Obviously when the fan's on it, then it's blowing it across here. It's a very small amount, but obviously quite dangerous, so I'll be off to order some new 8mm fuel line. I have bought a metre of 8mm fuel line from Motor Bins, and the first thing to do is to take off this cover. It's just two Allen heads. This isn't original to the bike, but I bought it maybe 20 years ago. They're really useful because it keeps all of the injectors safe. I want the toolkit off the bike, so I need to take the saddle off, and I'm going to be taking the tank off, so I need to take off the tank protector, which of mine isn't actually connected. I disconnected that many years ago. Get out the tool roll. There's a toolkit off the bike, and I'll be needing the screwdrivers and the Allen keys. But on my bike I've got this little pot of extras that I carry around. This is various oddments, like the original cap for the engine casing, spare spark plugs, useful bits that I may need in the future. But this is especially useful. This is a little socket set. It's the sort of thing that you get at the garden centre for a couple of quid, but they do make your life much easier. Firstly, I'm going to take off this cover. That just undoes. Easy enough. That's the cover off. And then looking at the injector rail, I can see there's a little bit of rust in here. So one of my jobs will be cleaning this and repainting it in situ. This is the fuel line that's leaking, and it's leaking up there, so I've got to take the fairing off next. So obviously this fuel line is really easy to get at. We'll just undo that and it comes off. But I want to clean this rail, and I want to clean all in there, and I'm going to do that before I disconnect the fuel lines. The other fuel line, this one goes around the back of the airbox, so you need to take the airbox out from the other side. It is a bit more of a complicated process. I'm using white spirit and an electric toothbrush, and that gets in there, and I can break up all the dirt that's on here, get that all loosened off, and then I'm going to wash it out with WD-40 and then dry it with rags. If you cut off the cable ties and then move the cables, you can see how dirty it is behind and on the top of the injectors, so I'm going to wash that out with WD-40 as well. I've cleaned this up with an emery pad to get all the rust, because it's mostly on the edges and on the corners, and then I'm just going to mask it up with paper and quickly spray it over, and then get on to the next part of the job, which is on the other side. Quick bit of masking up with paper towel and masking tape. This has only got to last a few seconds, so that'll do. I'll need to give that 2 coats. We'll just let it dry in the hot sun, that won't take very long. This side is the complicated side. I need to take my badge off. I'll need to take the horn off that I mounted there many years ago. That needs refinishing. And then you need to take the airbox and get it out of the way, because you need to get the bottom of the airbox out in order to get to the fuel pipe, which is on the other side. I've turned the bike around because the light is coming from this side and it gives you a clearer view of everything. You can see it's looking quite mouldy. Most of that is like dirt and mould from being stored in the shed, and it really doesn't like it. I'm just going to take my badge off. This is from when I was an instructor in the RAC in 1980 at the tender age of 18. This then pulls off. This comes out quite easily, and then I'll take the horn out. Now most bikes will not have their horn there. I put that there years ago. It's normally mounted on the front of the radiator. This is just a pop fit, so you just pull it out and pull it out. Then I can get my horn much easier. There are 3 clips holding the top of the unit on, and you just pop them out with a screwdriver. That one at the bottom is more awkward because this pipe is in the way, and this one at the back you can just reach in and fiddle it out. Again, more awkward, but you can do it. And then you need to take the top of that off. In my case, this overflow pipe is in the way. There's a lot of cables in the way, and it has to be done quite gently. But what you can do is you can slide out the actual filter. So lift this, rotate this out, and then you can get at it. That was quite fiddly because I have to move everything out the way. That clip has actually popped right off. But then you can use a screwdriver to lift it up and then pull that out, and that means this is now loose. Now up in there inside is that big mass airflow meter, which you mustn't damage. This clip is all rusty, so I'll be refinishing that. Hardwire brush, and I'll probably respray it. It is actually galvanised. Remember, it's nearly 40 years old, so it's done good service. But again, it's poor storage that's doing this to it. I'm not sure if I've broken it now. Oh, that was clever. I'm sure I can put that back together. I've watched videos of other people do this, and they always undo the clip that's over here. And I couldn't really figure out why until I undid this one and realised there is no way this rubber is going to come off of this box. It is fused on there. The only problem is that the screw that's on the other side, the toolkit that comes with the bike, the screwdriver, it isn't quite long enough. So I've had to get out sort of the master super long screwdriver to undo that. I've had to pull a lot of the wiring out the way because I've got extra wiring in mine for heated grips and an auxiliary fan. But once you pull that out of the way, you can go straight down onto that clip and undo it. Once this clip was loose, it just literally fell off. It was really easy to do. And now we can see down into the bottom of the airbox, which has got a fair amount of grit in it, which means it's doing its job. And we can also see how like the dirt and mould, actually a lot of this is dust. Where we live they do a lot of combining in the fields and that gets everywhere. I'll obviously completely clean this before it goes back together. I'll just let that drop out the way. There's a very thick cable here that's holding it in place, and I don't want to disturb any of those connections. These 2 screws have seized in place, so I'm using the extension bar from the toolkit on the Allen key to get them undone. I thought I'd taken this apart before, but I'm beginning to wonder whether I have. So I've just used the sleeve to pop that because that was really corroded in. Now it should be easy to get out. Once those 2 bolts are out, that just kind of lifts out. Like that. Oh, there we go. And I can tip all of that crap out into the flower bed, I think. Now if we look inside, you can see it quite oily there, but that's not really much of a concern. That's like 5,000, 10,000 worth of grime. It's much cleaner than I was thinking. This is a fuel regulator. This is the pipe that I must have replaced because it's not a standard one. If you want to buy a like custom made one of these, they're about £36. but it really doesn't seem worth it when you can just use one that costs £6. So the box is all covered in dust. A lot of this is from Saharan dust that we get here, and also from the combining. You can see how easily that comes off. That's not a big deal. That's just everyday wear and tear. I've cleaned it all out with Solvol Sol, a soft brush, and then got the hard corrosion off with a wire brush and a little steel brush, and you can see that everything's now silver rather than black. But I have suddenly realised I've got a problem, because this clip is one of the original type that you have to destroy to get off, and I haven't got a replacement clip. So what I'm going to do for now is use one off the other end that's easy to get at to make that good, and then go and source another clip for the top end of it. I've just spent about 10 minutes trying to get this blessed fixing of this one just here, and I've had to saw it through with a pad saw and then get a pair of cutters in there, but I've managed to loosen it off now, so I should be able to just pry it off with a screwdriver hopefully. Now that we're there, that looks like it's all going to move. Even though the clip's off, this still doesn't want to come off, so I'm going to slit it with a Stanley blade, and then that'll open up. I've unclipped the other end, and I've put a slit in that so that I can easily pull that off, and you can see that there's plenty of fuel coming out. So no naked flames, no sparks, no power tools, because obviously these pipes are all full of petrol. I just need to make a replica of that to replace it now. This must be an original one. It's got 8x13 BMW written on it. I'm just going to use it as a pattern to cut the length of the new one. That looks about right. The pipes are different outside diameters. Because the pipes are different diameters, it's much easier to fit these clips on. They go straight on. I had to really struggle to get it off the old pipe. These new pipes are really hard to get on, so I've oiled the spigots with 3-in-1, and then I'm softening them up in a cup of hot water directly from the kettle. Obviously when you do that, you've got to make sure no water goes into your fuel system, and then I should hopefully just be able to quickly put them on. So that was successful. Once they're heated up, they go on quite easily. Fighting it through that little gap is a bit more difficult, and then I've just used my little socket to tighten that right down. Reusing the standard clip, I've put the other end on, and that's nice and tight. These clips tighten up until they nearly meet, but obviously you don't want to split the pipe when you tighten them up. So next I'm going to take off this one. This is the long one that goes to the front. This has obviously been changed before. This one's ready to come off now, so I'm just going to use a Stanley knife to slit the rubber, and if you put a couple of slits in it, it just makes it that much easier to get it off, because otherwise they really grip. Even then, I'm going to have to put another slit in it. So quite a lot of fuel come out of that one, so it's all down in there now. I'll just use a cloth to wipe that up. Of course it's cleaning it as it's going. Just before I take this one out, I'm going to take the clip off the other end and just make sure I know where it goes, because there's a lot of cabling in the way otherwise. Doing the same trick with 3-in-1 oil and heating the pipe up to make it that much easier to get on. Of course this one I don't need to heat up the other end, because that's the end that goes onto the fuel tank. That's both pipes back in place on the regulator. I've used the BMW clips. The last place you need a leak is where you can't see it, so I'll use the good clips and the make do ones until I get a new set. I'm just cleaning all the dirt off the airbox before it goes back in. Basically giving it a rub down and then putting some vinyl cleaner on it. So there's quite a difference after it's been cleaned. I've cleaned that all up as well as I can, and I've noticed that there's a 87 stamp for my engine. I don't ever remember seeing that before. The lower part of the airbox was really easy, just drop straight in, and there's the two Allen headed bolts, and that's it. You have to now make sure that these clips are well out of the way and the front clip can go back in. Getting this back in is going to be the difficult part. Getting this air intake tube back in the right place has been quite difficult. What I've done is I've installed the top and put the filter in, so I know it's exactly the right height and it's pushed on. But because I've got an aftermarket fan on mine, that's pushed hard against that clip. So I've actually come from the top, looked down, and you can see the silver band. I've used a long screwdriver to manipulate it into place, and now it's correct. This small one is the easy one, so I've left it till last. All I need to do is undo that, take this pipe off, replace it with another pipe. You'll see I've now sprayed over my clip, but that will chip off. Well, that's the hard bit done. The three fuel lines are in place, the easy one, the hard one, the equally hard one. I've noticed that a lot of dirt has come through from the other side, so this all needs cleaning before I reassemble it. So on this side the air scoop needs to go back in, but I'm going to clean my horn first and put that back there. That's the electrics for it. And putting the tank on. Time to drop the tank back on, and the thing to remember is you've got rubber mounts at the front and these two locating pegs here, so you push it forward and drop it down, making sure that your cable is nice and clear. There's a little pocket there, and that is for the overflow from the fuel tank. There's two prongs that come out of it and they go into there, and there's a pipe and that goes off and overflows. A lot of people find that's actually missing, or they don't know what it is. So it's all back together. Moment of truth. Let's hope I don't need a fire extinguisher because I haven't got one. It will take a bit of coughing because the fuel has gone out of the line. If I haven't done something stupid like disconnect something. Right, well that's not good. I wonder if I have disconnected something. Last weekend I changed the fuel lines, and when I come to start the bike it wouldn't start, it just kept turning over and turning over. I have noticed that this warning light doesn't come on anymore, but when I fired it up, it started straight away. So the only thing I can think of is that it had an airlock in it that's worked its way out over the few days since I did the work.